This is your weekly Iuptv News Bulletin, broadcast from Davis Hall. I'm Sequoia Van Camp.
And I'm Jackie Gillis. Today we will bring you stories that are relevant to IUP and the Indiana community.
We will begin with local news. Aaron Seidel, a senior geoscience and applied mathematics major, became the first IUP student to win at the annual Undergraduate at the Capitol, Pennsylvania poster competition. Seidel was one of 3 IUP students who presented posters at the Undergraduate at Capitol competition, which allows undergraduate students enrolled in Pennsylvania's colleges and universities to showcase their research talents.
Cell phone carriers Sprint and T-Mobile have agreed to a $26 billion merger. If approved by federal regulators, this deal will leave the U.S. market with 3 large mobile carriers.
A Pennsylvania congressman who is accused of sexual assault abruptly resigned on Friday. Representative Patrick Meehan, who used taxpayer dollars to settle a former aide's sexual harassment charges, had already decided not to seek re-election this November. Former Representative Meehan has said that he will repay the government the $39,000 he used from his House office account to settle with his accuser. Governor Tom Wolf must now set a date for a special election to fill the seat.
Last Thursday, Bill Cosby was found guilty of sexual assault. This comes after a trial last summer ended in a hung jury, and is the first high-profile sexual assault case to take place in the Me Too era. Many think this verdict is an indication that in the future, the voices of accusers may be given more weight in similar trials. Cosby did not comment as he left the courthouse, but his lawyer said he would appeal.
After being sworn in as President Trump's second Secretary of State last Thursday, former CIA Director Mike Pompeo attended a meeting of NATO leaders in Brussels on Friday. After the meeting, Secretary Pompeo delivered remarks which have increased speculation that President Trump is about to pull the U.S. out of the JCPOA, commonly known as the Iran nuclear deal. Unless there are significant changes, he said, the president is not likely to stay in the deal. At the meeting, Secretary Pompeo reaffirmed America's commitment to NATO while reiterating President Trump's demand that all countries meet the 2% military investment target. When asked if Germany was doing enough, he simply replied, "No."
The Communications, Media, and Instructional Technology PhD program gave my life direction. This program was perfect for me with a combination of research and media production. Hands-on courses gave me skills that I now pass on to my students. I use all 3 areas of the program, production, theory, and research, every day in my job as a college professor.
Learn how the CMIT PhD program can change your life. Visit iup.edu/CMIT.
The Sociology Department, in cooperation with the Seedless Project, held Hunger Awareness Week last week in order to create an awareness about poverty and food insecurities in the country. Erin Stewart has her story.
The food drive took place from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on April 25th to the 27th in the Hub cul-de-sac. Students and other community members stopped by and dropped off non-perishable food that is then taken to the food bank.
Hunger Awareness Week is to raise awareness about hunger nationally and locally in the Indiana community. And we're also taking it a step further this year by understanding hunger among college students a little better than we know, because we are preparing to start a food pantry on campus.
Hunger Awareness Week is an activity that has been conducted for 5 years with the goal of helping the people in Indiana County who are affected by poverty and hunger. Though Hunger Awareness Week might be over, there is so much people can do to help those who are struggling in poverty.
We can accept food donations. They can just drop them off at Stuff the Van. There's also food boxes in McElhaney Hall and in the library, if they can drop food items off there. We also accept donations, so they can make a donation to the Seedling Project through the IUP Foundation. That's a possibility if they'd like to make a monetary donation. And if they want to contact me, we can talk about other ways they can get involved.
Okay. The group consists of students in the Sociology of Family course taught by Dr. Swagger. They learn about poverty as well as food insecurity and how it affects families and the perception of social inequality.
I think I've learned a lot more about how poverty affects different populations of people and what we can do to help those people.
Hunger Awareness Week is supported by the Ceiling Project, a project that aids 150 low-income clients of 4 local food pantries in Indiana County by providing them with the supplies to grow and produce their own food at home.
I think young adults suffer from hunger and food insecurity. I also just think it's important for people to be aware of what's happening in the communities around them. I teach sociology of family, and this project is a service learning project that's in my class. And so we look at the relationship between families, communities, and social problems. And so I think it's important for students. I think a lot of students have misconceptions about poverty and hunger, like who lives in poverty, who's hungry, a lot of people, I think, assign stereotypes to those issues, especially when it comes to people's use of food stamps and food pantries. And so we learn a lot about that in my class, and then my class goes and spreads awareness about that.
Poverty is a huge problem that may hit close to home for many in Indiana County. According to the Census Bureau, 20% of Indiana County falls below the poverty line. One of the biggest struggles caused by poverty is hunger.
The more that we know about the issues, the more we have access to helping people affected by them. So the more educated we are about these issues through projects like this.
It is important to inform the youth about poverty because sometimes we forget that so many people struggle with hunger. Some of us are privileged enough to not have to worry if there will be food on the table. We need to do everything we can to help those in need and make a difference, not just in Indiana County, but all over the world. Reporting for Iuptv News, this is Erin Stewart.
It's the last week of class. While students are getting ready completing their projects, an organization helps students prepare for their exams by providing free food and activities. Troy Richardson visited the Static Cookout last week. Here's his story.
Monday, April 29th, Static had its 30th annual end-of-the-year cookout from noon to 4 p.m. on the hard front patio. The event was free and open to all members of the IUP community. Static urged everyone to come share the experience as students enjoy spending time eating food, playing games, and interacting with other activities. Staff member Alize explains the goal of Static's cookout event.
Fun, bring the IUP students together, give out some free prizes, some free food and stuff, just have a good time before the end of the school year.
Static has held different events with the focus of exposing students with social and cultural events that has educational components as well as giving students opportunity to participate in selecting, promoting, and managing events. Joshua Gorel explains his first time attending the event.
In a way, I like the energy, the atmosphere, the environment is very welcoming. A lot of people came out today. It's pretty fun.
Staff member Danielle explains the goal of the Static Cookout event.
So Static's goal is to bring students together in a fun and diverse way. Towards the end of the semester, people are stressed with finals. Everyone just wants to get together, have a good time before everybody has to leave for summer. And that's basically what we're here to do, is just make sure that students are having a good time.
That's all we have on IUP's Static event. I'm Troy Richardson, and this is Iuptv News.
With the campus, with the people, with my IUP life. See it for yourself. Visit us. Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Find your success.
As the semester comes to an end, we would like to feature a story on international students. Some of these students are returning to their home countries in less than 2 weeks. After spending time here at IUP from 6 months up to a few years, Antonio Anderson has his story.
For the last few years, IUP has been a host of hundreds of international students. According to the International Education Office, there are at least 1,000 international students in IUP. Some of them come as undergraduate or graduate students, while others come as exchange students from other universities around the world. To date, 57 countries represent IUP, adding great diversity here. Yuta Susumi, an international student from Japan, has lived here in Indiana for less than a year.
And I've stayed here for 6 months, so since last October, and I want to tell you about my story. Not in school, I travel a lot in the United States, so my precious memory is constructed in my trip. So when I went to Yosemite National Park, there are a lot of diversity, and so I would say Americans' good point is diverse, and American culture, it's I think very freedom, and people are very kind and openness, friendly. It's not only a student friend, but also professor. My biology professor, I major in biology, so my biology professor took me to conference, but in the car, my professor in Japan, we students should be more polite to professor, but he is so friendly and hey buddy, what's up? But I can imagine in Japan the same things happen in Japan. So as a first time, I was a little bit confusing. Oh, why should I show my personality to him? But after that, I'm getting used to it, and it's very good things. And student and professor is the same position, so we can tell wherever we want to say to each other. It's very good system. It's very equal.
Adapting to IUP and Indiana culture is not easy. Odai described one confusion that he encountered.
Whenever I run to a friend on campus and they say hey, what's up? And I tend to really tell what I'm feeling or what is happening to me, oh, I'm sick, and it's not actually how they do it. When they say what's up, it means hi, that's it. You don't have to tell what you're feeling or what's going on with you. So yeah, that's one thing.
With the recent International Unity Day, celebrating and informing of each other's culture, many locals had the chance to connect with them. This event adds to many unforgettable memories for these students when they return home to their countries.
My student about American culture, that American do transparency. Also, I want to say that Americans are very polite people. They like to associate with others, and they are open. So I'm going to tell my student about this, because in Indonesia, some of Indonesians have a stereotype about American, but now I know that they are fine, they are good.
This is Antonio Anderson with IUP TV.
Coming up, Taylor Schaefer will bring you sports and health stories. Stay tuned.
Can I go to the sleepover?
Lucy, I want you to promise me something. If there's any drinking, I want you to say, no thanks, not my thing.
Mom.
I promise you, your real friends won't care. Deal?
I promise, Mom.
They really do hear you.
Did you pack your toothbrush?
For tips on how to start the talk, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov, a public service message from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration.
Coming up, Taylor Schaefer will bring you health stories. Stay tuned.
Can I go to the sleepover?
Lucy, I want you to promise me something. If there's any drinking, I want you to say, no thanks, not my thing.
Mom.
I promise you, your real friends won't care. Deal?
I promise, Mom.
They really do hear you.
Did you pack your toothbrush?
For tips on how to start the talk, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov, a public service message from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration.
Spring and summer are usually the seasons for people to dress light and enjoy the outdoors. However, April through September is tick season, and unfortunately there's a new disease-carrying exotic tick that has made its way to the United States. It has migrated from Asia to Australia and New Zealand to the US. Usually you hear about deer ticks, but this year is the longhorn tick. These ticks are more developed than ever before, and the females can reproduce on their own. So one female by herself can produce thousands of eggs. Although this tick is rapidly migrating and producing, there are some precautions you can take, which include wearing long pants including socks and shoes, checking yourself for ticks anytime you've been outside where they like to dwell, and also showering when you come in from an area where you might have been in contact with ticks.
It's hard to explain. It just became home. There are hundreds of majors and programs, bachelor's degrees to PhDs, small classes and faculty that really get to know you. Amazing internships and everywhere, programs that help to find a job that is right for you. It's what IUP is about, a commitment to your success. See it for yourself. Visit us. Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Find your success.
We have an app on our phones for pretty much anything, but have you ever wondered the difference in certain mosquitoes? A research finding from Stanford University shows that a simple cell phone can tell one type of mosquito from another based on their hums, which may be useful in fighting mosquitoes-borne disease. This project is being called Shazam for Mosquitoes, after the phone app that identifies music. This app can accurately distinguish the beats accurately enough to tell the difference from Culex mosquitoes, which spread virus in the West Nile, from the Aedes mosquitoes, which spread Zika. Even older flip phones, which are still used in parts of Africa, are sensitive enough to do the job.
All your professors, all of them, they know that all it takes is one dreamer with passion, one person, and they hope in each of you that you might be that one, who makes a longer-lasting light bulb, who writes music for the ages, who reaches into the mind and discovers a new star, and it could change the world of a fifth grader. We're gathered here to hope in you.
There are a few exciting events coming up this weekend. Students at Theater Music will present their last show this year titled Figaro Figaro. The event will be in Waller Hall every day from May 2nd to the 5th.
Another event will help many students prepare for their exams next week. On Thursday, May 3rd from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Again, Static invited students to come for annual final study break in the Hubbo High Room. In the event, they will offer massages and oxygen bar, crafts, DIY spa kits and stress balls, video games, and lots of coffee and food. The event is completely free and open to the entire IUP campus community. Next week, we will bring you stories related to finals week as well as events around IUP and Indiana, PA. Please stay tuned. We'll see you next week.